for it. I just know I'm not that popular a channel. It's just the logic of it. I only have so many followers. That's a scream that I can't do because it's almost midnight. Oh. Junpei felt a cold lump form in the pit of his stomach. A feeling of sickening anticipation washed over him. He could feel his body shivering. He desperately did not want to know the answer he feared he already knew, but he had to ask. Oh, did you? Woo! Good to hear. I pop up when you type in Danganronpa. I mean, I can understand why on one point, but on Twitch? Or do you mean just on Google? A feeling of sickening and nope, I read that. He desperately did not nope, I read that too. Can I ask you one more thing? What? I read that totally deadpan. What? The girl, Akane. What was her last name? His sister pasta? What? This moment is ruined. Oh, I'm gonna cry for different reasons. What was her last name? What does it matter to you? Just tell me, okay? Please. Seven looked at Junpei curiously and ran his tongue quickly over his dry lips. Kurashiki. Her name was Akane Kurashiki. Oh my god. Something inside of Junpei stopped. He had no more words left. He had no more Junpei left. Why would you word it that way? He was just a shell of flesh and bone. Seven turned to Snake. You were there that day, weren't you? The tall kid in the jacket? That was you, wasn't it? Yes, I was. You were correct, Detective. Junpei's mind was blank, withdrawn from the world. Somewhere far away, he could hear Seven and Snake talking. Don't misunderstand me. I told you before how Zero threatened me. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't say anything about what happened 9 years ago. So you're saying you're not working for Zero, right? Of course not. Clover? What about you? Hey, come on! You really think I'm working with Zero? I told you before, you idiot! I was in Nevada and building Q! I did hear that a detective rescued the kids on the boat, but... I didn't know it was you. Oh, on Twitch! Oh, that's interesting. He was out of Junpei. Her surprise seemed to be genuine. Seven regarded Clover for a moment and rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Well, I guess I believe you. Clover nodded. Alright, let me ask you another question. He stuck his hands into his pockets and took a few steps. Then he stopped and turned to face them again. Santa's real name is Aoi Kurashiki. He's Akane's brother. You know that? No, I didn't. Did you? Well, yes, I know Aoi Kurashiki was her brother. Sorry, I know? Okay. But I didn't know he was Santa, at least not from the beginning. 9 years ago, he was in the middle of puberty. His voice is entirely different now. I'm ashamed to say that even my exceptional hearing wasn't able to make that connection. As such, I had no reason to think Santa was Aoi. When did you figure it out? A short time ago, Clover told me that Santa might have been one of the subjects of the initial experiment. When she told me that, I had a feeling. Santa is Aoi? Akane Kurashiki, Jun's brother? That spark caught flame in Junpei's laden mind, and the fog began to clear. Middle of puberty, sorry, can't tell. Like an engine beginning to turn, images and thoughts began to coalesce in his mind, coming faster and faster, forming bigger images, bigger thoughts. Junpei blinked. He was back. There's still a lot we don't know. I mean, like, a lot. Oh, thanks, Junpei. Thanks for clearing that up. But there is one thing I think we can say we know. What's that? The body we found in the shower room had to be Nijisaki dressed up to look like Snake. What? Come on, man. What kind of a detective are you? You didn't figure that out already? Hey, go easy on me, man. I just got my memory back, alright? Cut me some slack. Well, if he is, the 3 murders make sense then, don't they? Yeah, that's right, murder. Kubota blew himself up, but that was murder too. So why did these murders take place? If Junpei is correct, and the body in the shower room was Nichisaki's, that means all of the people who were murdered were involved with the creation of the Nonori project. Kubota, the person who conducted the actual experiments. Nijisaki, Hongo's assistant. Musashido, the man who financed the project.
You mean this was all just revenge? Santa is Zero. He's getting revenge for the death of his sister.
No, I don't think Santa actually murdered anyone. In fact, Junpei didn't think, he knew. He couldn't explain why or how, but he had no doubt that Santa had killed no one. Perhaps the madness of the last several hours was finally driving him insane, but Junpei had ceased to be surprised at his sudden knowledge, and had even begun to accept it. If I'm right, then it's not hard to figure out who the next victim's gonna be, is it? I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you. Snake, Clover, and Seven all nodded. The next target will be Gentaro Hongo.
The person who planned the Nonori project.
In other words, Ace. There was a moment of silence. And then the room shook. From far away, they heard the sudden rush of water. Whoa, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, you guys forgot that your boat's sinking and you're on a time limit here.
It must be 6 a.m. Our time is up. Shit! Come on, we need to get out of here.
How?
In the drawer that had held that picture in the key cards, Junpei grabbed it. I'm betting this sucker opens the exit. Come on, let's go.
Ew, Jonah. Okay, hopefully we can leave now, maybe? Move on to brighter pastures. Yay! Let's get out of here. Junpei, look! It's unlocked!
Yeah! Now we can go back to the library. Why do we want to do that? Hurry up, Junpei, we don't have time. Let's go. Why are we going back to the library? Why would we go back to the library? We have no choice? We have to go back? I don't want to go there, please. Please. That was enough, please. Once was enough, please. The door opened and they stumbled into the library. Hurry up, Junpei! We keep congratulating you, but we don't have time! The shaking had stopped, but they knew the danger hadn't passed. They ran across the hallway straight for the large metal door. Oh, right, that one. Next to the door was the Uranus card reader. No! No more reading! They slid the key card... well, I mean books, not the game, obviously, because I'm still reading. And the door rumbled open. Out of the library and into the hallway they ran. At the end of the hallway was a door. Junpei reached into his pocket to pull out the key as he ran toward it. The key he put into the lock was the Neptune key. I knew someone would make that joke eventually. He turned it. The lock clicked. As one, they shoved the door open and poured through it. Whoa. In front of them was another great metal door. Great? Oh my god! Is that what they meant, or did they mean like great, like G-R-A-T-E? But either way, it's kind of weird to call a metal door great. It was a great metal door. He was a great guy. Above it was a metal plaque. It read, Incinerator. I'm glad you can read, Junpei. So this is the incinerator. This is the first time I've seen it from this side, but yeah, I think so. Then there ought to be a lever near the door. Yeah, right here. Junpei ran up to it. Pull that and the door should open. Got it. As he spoke, he pulled the lever. A great door. It was pretty great. It was a good host of a door. The motor in the door groaned as it slowly ground open. There was no time to waste. Apparently there is, because you gotta tell me all this. As soon as the door had opened far enough to admit them, all 4 dashed through. Then suddenly, there before them were the 4 who had parted from earlier. Oh. Ace and Lotus stood in front of the number 9 door. Uh-oh. Santa was curled into a ball against the wall of the incinerator, holding his stomach. And then there was June. Oh no, she sat slumped against the wall, exhausted. What had happened? Junpei ran toward June. He skidded to a stop in front of her and knelt down. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Her face was pale and her lips dry. When she spoke, he could barely hear her.
Junpei, you came to get me.
"Of course I did. I made a promise."
I'm so glad you're here. So glad.
She mumbled the same words over and over, weakly. Junpei could feel his heart breaking. "Hey, what happened to you?"
I'm fine. I just fainted. I wasn't feeling very good. I'm feeling a lot better now, though.
"Are you sure?"
Yes. I just need to rest a little longer. I'm sure I'll be fine. You shouldn't worry about me.
She was looking toward Santa. Junpei turned to look as well. Santa grimaced, his face contorted in pain. Seven grabbed him by the collar and roared at him. Did you get the imagery of that? Just grabbed him and went, "Roar! Hey, where is it? Where's the gun? You hide it somewhere? Where?" Despite himself, a grunt of pain escaped Santa's lips as Seven shook him. "I don't have it. I got sucker punched and they took the gun." "What? Who took it?" "Who else took it, Seven? The flippin' fairy godmother." "What, isn't that obvious?" "I took the gun." "Ace!" He did indeed have the revolver in his hand. It was pressed against Lotus's temple. Ace had her pinned to him with the other arm, and she was shaking visibly. Her fiery attitude was gone, replaced by fear. She didn't dare speak. There was sweat on her forehead, and when her eyes weren't flickering up to the gun pressed against her, they seemed to desperately want to say something. "Just what the hell do you think you're doing, Ace? Or maybe I ought to say Gentaro Hongo, CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical. Dun dun dun." Seven's deep baritone, that wasn't really deep in baritone, I'm sorry, rumble shook the walls. Ace sneezed. I'm kidding. He sneered. "Bless you, Ace." "You have me at a disadvantage, and I don't like that. You know me, but I don't know you. Do you have any idea how much I've suffered? Can you even begin to understand my pain? The pain of prosopagnosia, right?" Junpei's voice was casual, or at least it was trying to be. "Another irritating insect. And how do you know that, Junpei couldn't say. He just knew. Another unexplainable mystery. "No matter. If you don't want to answer it, it makes no difference to me. This is a waste of time, anyway. It's time for me to go." Behind Ace, Junpei could see the red. It was placed in the small indentation on the wall. Quickly, Ace placed his hand on the scanner. It beeped, and he forced Lotus's hand onto it as well. He pulled something out of it and pressed it against the panel. Sorry, then at last he reached into his pocket of his jacket and pulled something out, okay. The third asterisk appeared on the red. The thing he had used for the final verification was the bracelet with the number 9. It had belonged to the first man to die, Kubota. "I believe I've won this game." His smirk made Junpei's blood boil. "I've had quite a time playing with you. I must thank Zero, I suppose." Wait, something about the way he'd spoken. Did Ace not know who Zero was? Junpei's eyes flickered towards Santa. He hadn't moved since they'd entered the room. Santa was still holding his stomach and groaning as if in immense pain. Junpei wasn't sure if it was real pain, but he wasn't sure it wasn't either. What the hell did Santa have up his sleeve this time? "At any rate, this game ends now. I'll escape and the rest of you will have a slightly less pleasant ending. I suggest you enjoy your final moments. Goodbye." Wait! Ace, of course, paid no heed to Seven's request and laid hold of the lever on the red. With a sickening sense of finality, he pulled it. Uh-oh. What? What? Why isn't it opening? Lotus tried to take advantage of Ace's confusion and managed to twist herself out of his grasp, but at the last second he grabbed hold of her wrist and shoved it into the red. He waved the number 9 bracelet over the red and then his own bracelet as well. He pulled the lever a second time.
Whoopsie.
No! What is this? Why? The digital root should be 9. It has to be 9. Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Ha, what a noob.
Ace's fury and confusion had overridden all other thoughts. He had set down the revolver. It was just below the red. Seven chose that moment to act. He moved far faster than a man of his bulk should have been able to, and he launched that bulk straight at Ace. I thought that said 6. 6-er.
Holy shit.
It was over before they knew it. In the blink of an eye, Ace was on the floor. He rolled onto his side, groaning in pain. Ugh. Lotus ran straight for Junpei. She darted around behind him and stuck her head out, making sure to keep Junpei between herself and Ace. Phew. That was close. Too close. Thank you, Seven. Don't mention it. Seven stood over Ace, his breathing slow and heavy. Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I had to rip him to pieces. But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in a cell, we're gonna have a little chat.
Bye, said Seven. It's really cute.
9 years ago? Ah, then you must be... Yeah, you finally figured it out. Dumbass.
Ace planted his hands on the floor and shook his head.
Dumbass.
Junpei walked toward him. He stopped and looked down at Ace with pity on his face.
Ace, you killed Kubota, Nijisaki, and Musashido, didn't you? Wait, Nijisaki? He peered at Junpei, genuinely confused. Oh, right. You don't know yet. Alright, we'll just go through them in order then. Let's start off with Kubota. You talked to Kubota and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone. You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figured it, you had 4 motives. 1. In the nonary game, the number 9 was dangerous. Whoever had the number 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. You could add 9 to any number and the digital root wouldn't change. Math. In other words, number 9 could do whatever they wanted. Ace had wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible. 2. Ace also wanted to have the number 9 bracelet himself so that he could make use of its power. In fact, he later made use of it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number had been different, Kubota presented a problem for Ace. Kubota had known Ace's past. He knew what had happened 9 years before. Before he told anyone, Ace had to silence him. 4. But last, and perhaps most disturbing, Ace had used Kubota as a test. He wanted to know how serious the nonary game was. Was it truly life or death, or simply a harmless prank? He convinced Kubota to break the rules so that he might see what happened. That was why you killed Kubota, who was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing part of the red, you ran into Nijisaki near the big hospital. However, because of your prosopagnosia, you didn't realize he was Nijisaki. Chiefly because when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake. No, that's not... That was Nijisaki? Why? How did... I'll get to that. Junpei being the detective asshole right now. Pointing out all the things that happened. Anyway, you thought he was Snake. Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago. You remembered him because he was the blind kid. But his presence made you think, Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me. But if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me. Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my past is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him. That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kubota's bracelet. You just waved it over the red. Verified your own number, and then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel. Then, when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed. And then 81 seconds passed. And poor Nijisaki was spaghetti. Then you mean to say Snake is still alive? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm good as new. thank you for killing the wrong man, but I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although, to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much. Well, I wouldn't blame you. Ace's self-derision was frustrating, but Junpei kept his emotions in check and continued. Arm spaghetti. Last but not least, let's talk about Musashido's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me. Do you remember what you said? Oh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it? I handed you the pocket watch and you left the room. Ace had been in charge of the nonary project. He would, of course, have known the solution to every puzzle. It followed, then, that he knew how to get out of the wheelhouse. All Ace had to do was place the pocket watch in the indentation on the door to unlock it. With the door open, he was able to enter the captain's quarters. Musashido was there. Next to him was an axe that fairly begged Ace to kill Musashido with it. He picked up the axe and swung it, burying the blade deep in the other man's chest. One blow was all it took. Afterwards, Ace returned to the chart room as though nothing had happened. There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment? With no reason not to, Junpei had followed Ace to the wheelhouse. When they reached the wheelhouse, Ace slipped his hand into Junpei's vest. He pulled out a piece of paper, the piece of paper Junpei had used to cheat during the vote. But it wasn't the piece of paper that Ace was after. His true purpose had been to slip the pocket watch into Junpei's pocket. Oh, it wasn't a very good plan. It had far too many flaws, and the wrong word of discovery could easily have toppled it. What had made Ace so desperate? That was the only thing Junpei hadn't been able to figure out. Musashido's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it, but why? Because of this. Slowly, Ace reached down and pulled something out of his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper. Junpei took it and opened it. This was what it said. Number 1. There are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win the nonary game. The second is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I've prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by that camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent. Once you've confessed everything, I'll release you from this ship. To make your confession more credible, I've left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he'll confess with you. The decision is yours. Do as you please. 0. When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket. That was why I chose door 1 when we voted. If I went through that door, I knew I could get to the captain's quarters. As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was the plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of hand was the best I could manage on on short notice. You meant to kill him from the beginning, then. Musashido, I mean. I only knew Musashido was the witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him and he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki was in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him, derp. But yeah, you're correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness. Ace had confessed everything. What energy he had left in him, what energy he had left him with the truth, I can read, and he sagged on his knees. Although he had confessed, his sins were not forgiven. Junpei felt revulsion for the pathetic man on the floor near his feet. But in among the revulsion was a hint of pity. After all, Ace had not been the only person who murdered those 3 men. Junpei spoke quietly. Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated. Yes, so it would seem. I was little more than a puppet in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared. The Reds in the large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like Snake. There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Musashido was delirious from the anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back. Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I can't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap. I'm quite ashamed of myself. But yes, this was a trap. It was Zero's trap, and I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do. Yeah. By manipulating Ace, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this nonary game happened. Am I right, Santa?
Junpei looked over at Santa. As Junpei spoke, he stood up, his legs still shaky, and then he saved his game. Good job, Santa. I'm proud of your life choices to save game. Would I like to quit? No.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any... Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, guess I should call you Aoi Kurashiki, huh?
Seven's face was sad as he spoke.
My memory came back, kid. You're Aoi Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this was all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned the nonary game this time around was Zero. And Zero's you. Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh?
Santa's smile was sarcastic and something else.
Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it then, huh? Yeah, you got me. I'm Aoi Kurashiki. I was one of the kids in the nonary game 9 years ago. I made it out. So did Snake over there. There's one thing. No, I guess there's two things you got wrong. Number one, I ain't Zero. What? Wait, what? Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of an assistant. Like a secretary. But an assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders. Then, if you're not Zero, who is? Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say two things? You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said all of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this nonary game happened. But that's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose. There's another reason you guys were playing the nonary game. Huh? To save someone. Save someone? Right. You were brought here to help my sister. To save Akane. What the hell are you talking about? Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw...
Suddenly, Seven froze. His eyes went as wide as dinner plates, and he spun around toward June. Junpei followed his gaze. She was gone. Where June had been, there was nothing.
What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki?
Seven began to mumble to himself, a strange series of words strung together as if his mind wasn't functioning properly. His face was twisted with effort, as though he were struggling with something they couldn't see. He gritted his teeth and pressed his hands against the sides of his head.
My head. My head. It feels like it's gonna pop.
I almost said it feels like it's gonna poop. He groaned and fell to his knees. Seven! What the hell's going on?
I don't know. I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode.
From somewhere far away, they all heard a deep, heavy noise. It sounded like a tremendous wheel slowly beginning to turn. Santa seemed to have entered an almost trance-like state. His words were calm and measured.
What was the nonary project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. And what was that phenomenon? Phenomenon. For two organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Poop head 7. My head's gonna poop.
That's so stupid. I can't believe I read it that way.
Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what the experiment was conducted to determine. There were two separate locations. One was the Gigantic, and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. Building Q had been built to replicate exactly the interior of the Gigantic. The 9 children trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones on the Gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set and transmit them to their brothers and sisters on the Gigantic. The transmitters were put into Building Q, and the receivers were put on the Gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up, but there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter. She should have been in Building Q, however, for some reason she was placed on the Gigantic with the receivers like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on the Gigantic. I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei. Where what is going? Don't play dumb. You know things you shouldn't. Things you couldn't. How'd you know Ace had prosopagnosia? How'd you know why Ace wanted to kill Kubota and how Nijisaki was killed? Were you surprised when he found out Ace was Hongo? And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it? Well, that's...
The answer to that is easy. He knew because I knew. Junpei was receiving information that I sent to him through the morphic field set. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures, then? Imagine a river that splits in two, like an upside-down Y. The river flows from the top to the bottom, from a single stream into two branches. It only flows in one direction. It can never flow backward. Information is the same way. It moves from the past to the future, but never flows backward. That's why people at the river's source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about one another either. Information only flows along the path of the river. But I'm different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens on either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am... What? I am I? What does that say? Yeah, I guess I am I, the 9th letter of the alphabet. But I am also 0. No, that's not true. I'm not really 0. Not yet. Perhaps you could say I am less than 0. 0 is my future. In 9 years, I will be 0. Oh, man. Intense.
Where did she go? June. No, Akane. Where did you go?
Santa!
Why's Clover... Oh, shit. Freeze. Santa's got the gun. Guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. Looks like he's turned the tables on Ace, though. Wonder how he likes having a gun.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
Wonder how he likes having a gun to his head. Get up. Sure isn't about to take that gun off of him for a minute, is he? Ace isn't putting up any kind of a fight. Look at his face. Look at Ace's face, though. I mean, I don't think I would either. But he just looks drained. I guess he's going for the door, huh? He doesn't need to verify to go through that door, but... What's your plan, Santa? What are you doing? He can't get through any numbered doors with just 2 people. What the hell is he thinking? Didn't I tell you? I'm Santa Claus. It's time for me to go make a wish come true. That's it? That's all he's gonna give us?
Santa's got the gun sounds like a pretty kick-ass movie title. Oh my god, Jazz, you got my Michael Scott joke! That makes me so happy. It's one of my favorite quotes. Well, 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 how the turntables... Can you imagine Santa saying that? It's so out of character, but so amazing.
What the hell does that even mean? Shit, they're out. And now the gate's shut. Looks like the rest of us are stuck in here. They're all looking at me. At least Seven's headache is gone. He seems to be alright. Well, I guess there's no harm in trying. Let's see if this door still opens. Damn, well, it looks like this door isn't opening anytime soon. That was quick. You mean we're trapped? So it would seem. What the hell is Santa trying to do?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, what? Have you considered where we are? There can really only be one thing Santa would do now.
No. No, you can't be serious.
Oh, but he is. Shit, we've got to do something. Maybe we can still get out through door 9. There's the red. Yeah, alright, we can do this. I've just got to... No, it's not going to work. There's no way. The 5 of us can't open this door. 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 equals 26. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Is there any combination that'll work?
Junpei, can I borrow your pen and notebook?
Sure, why not? I don't think I'm gonna need them. Ever again. Well, she certainly looks purposeful. Looks like she's writing equations. A lot of them. Huh? Oh, man, she doesn't look very happy. What? Hey, no! Sorry. Hey, no! Hey, no need to be ripping pages out like that. Jeez. What the hell are you doing, Clover?
No, I don't know if I'd called him that. No.
Give me that!
'Cause, like, their brother... Their prank gone too far. Does that make Ace Dwight? I don't understand. This is a weird comparison.
Alright, at least 7 got it away from her. Maybe now I can get a look at what she was writing. I don't know why I'm laughing, man. Let's see. I don't know if that was 7 or... I don't know who's talking. I'm sorry. I probably totally messed that up. Shit.
Oh, Junpei finally said something out loud.
Then there's no other way? Lotus. Looks like she'd figured it out, though. Man, this is just too cruel.
It's okay. Go.
Lotus? Come on, you know we can't do that.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm sure you'd love to get rid of me.
God damn it, you idiot! Whoa, where the hell did that come from? Looks like she expected that about as much as I did. Without, if you're not... Look, it'd be bad, alright? For a cop, he sure... Oops, it's a Junpei. For a cop, he sure doesn't have much confidence.
Bad?
Yeah. If there weren't assholes like you around, I'd be out of a job.
Huh?
Look, I'm just not leaving you behind, alright? End of story.
7.
He's right. I'm not leaving you either.
Me too.
You don't honestly think I'd abandon you, did you?
You're all idiots.
Act as tough as you want, Lotus. We can all see you're about to cry. That being said, however, I doubt we'd be able to open the door anyway, even if we were to leave Lotus.
Clover is Erin when she's happy. Oh my god.
Even if we were to leave Lotus behind.
Huh? Why?
I trust you remember what happened to Ace. I couldn't, see exactly what happened, but I was able to guess what he was attempting to do earlier at the Red. Oh, yeah. No! What is this? Why? The digital route should be 9. It has to be 9. Then why? Why isn't it opening? Just to see, why don't we give it a shot? Give it a shot? Yes, that is what I said.
Two plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. You were right!
It ain't opening. But it did open 9 years ago. The digital route was 9 then, I'm sure of it. You think maybe they changed the settings? Perhaps.
7 is Kevin. Stop doing these comparisons! It's so weird, but hilarious.
Shit. If we can't get through the door, we can't get out. The walls are way too high. There's no way in hell we could get to that hole 7 popped out of 9 years ago. All we can do is stand here and stare at this door with a 9 on its chest. I guess this is it. This is the end.
Is it though? I was watching. I had watched everything that was reflected in his eyes. I was listening. Every sound that vibrated in his eardrums, I heard. Smell, taste, touch. I felt everything he felt. I knew. I knew everything about him. What he was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was sensing. All of his feelings and worries and fears became mine. My mind, my consciousness, was inside of him. Through the morphic field set, we were resonant and we were as one. I was him, and at the same time, I was an observer. It started with a tremendous noise like a clap of thunder. That was approximately 9 hours ago. A bomb had gone off on the ship we were on. That was when my resonance with him began. My resonant event melted into him and we became one, inside of Junpei. Somehow I found myself in Junpei's mind, 9 years in the future. But I didn't lose myself. I was living in 2 realities at once. One was the present and the other was the future. White text on white background though. Perhaps you can think of it as 2 movies showing on the same screen at the same time. Eventually it becomes difficult to separate them and determine which movie is which. However, if I concentrated, I was able to focus on one or the other. That was why I was able to grasp what was happening in front of me.
Come on! Over here!
That was my brother, Aoi. He was screaming. I followed him. Around me were 7 other children. They all looked like they were about my age. I think that little one there beside Santa, I think that's one of, she looks like she could be one of Lotus's kids.
Come on, hurry up!
We ran down a long, straight hallway and burst into the large hospital room. Door glitch.
Jonah's favorite.
Yep, totally Michael Scott. Everyone was arguing. 2 of the boys got in a fist fight. A girl watching them began to cry. I want to go home, she cried. I want to go home. Another girl slapped the crying girl and glared down at her. It had been 2 hours since the notary game began. We were starting to fall apart. But just when all hope seemed lost, Light started talking. He was blind. 9 years later, we would call him Snake.
Hello, everyone. Yes, could you come over here for a moment?
He was older than most of us, and his voice held authority and dignity. The fights died down, and we gathered around him.
I have a little sister. She's very important to me. Right now, she's over in Building Q and is desperately trying to send information over to me. Her name is Clover, and today's her 9th birthday.
As he spoke, he pulled something from his pocket. In his hand were 9 4-leaf clovers.
I was going to give these to her as a birthday present. I was outside picking them when I was abducted. I'm sure I've already told you, but I am blind. For a man who can't see, collecting 9 of a very specific plant is, well, it is difficult. But my sister means a great deal to me, and I hope that these would show her how much I cared for her. Since it's her 9th birthday, I thought 9 4-leaf clovers would be appropriate. Every one of you has a brother or a sister in Building Q with Clover. For their sake, we have to survive. We have to get off this ship. Do you understand? If we're going to do that, there are 3 things you have to remember. We need trust and love, and we have to have faith in one another. If we can take all 3 of those to heart, then I promise that good luck will come our way. Did you know that the leaves on the 4-leaf clover mean faith, trust, love, and luck? Those words are leaf words. So if you believe what I've told you and you understand, then I want you each to have one of these. They're a promise between friends.
He gave a clover to each of us. I took one too. Eventually, he was left with only a single 4-leaf clover. He had one last thing to say.
Now don't ever forget. So long as you have that, we'll always be connected. Do you understand?
Is it a pauper fruit? When he finished, the tension of only a few minutes before was gone. We were calm. After that, we ran around the ship for a while longer and opened several of the numbered doors until we finally found a door with the number 9 on it. In fact, there were 2 doors with 9 on them, and we found them in the chapel. We split into 2 groups and walked through the doors. Before long, we found ourselves in a room with a ceiling that looked like an upside-down funnel.
This looks like the Danganronpa thing.
For some reason, this room had another number 9, but this time it was only one. It was the only one, sorry. But if there was only one door, that meant only 5 people could escape. What are we gonna do? There aren't any other doors. We began to panic. Then, as if things had not gotten bad enough already.
He's such an asshole, like why would he do that?
Warning, warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. What? What's happening? What did the thing say? That didn't sound good. My brother always swallowed hard and answered,
I think it means this room's gonna burn.
So did you know that 9 4-leaf clovers are an ingredient for spaghetti and 9 meatballs? Oh my gosh. Oh my god, I thought, when it said burn, I thought it said bruh. It took me totally out of it.
I think this room's gonna burn.
Burn? The plaque on the door says incinerator, and that voice said that the incineration's about to start, and incinerate means to burn.
Seven, Kevin.
8?
True.
No! Help me! Abject terror filled the room as everyone began to scream and cry. Every pair of eyes were filled with despair. Then, high up on the wall, a door opened and a man appeared. He was a huge, frightening mountain of a man, as large as a bear. 9 years later, we would call him 7.
Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you.
The rest happened just like 7 had said it did. The 4 of us who had stayed behind were saved by 7. We crawled through the vent, away from the incinerator, and slid down into the hall. We came out on the other side of door 9. On the wall opposite the door was a set of double doors. We went through those and began to run up the spiral stairs. Stairs! I almost said staircase, that's why. As we ran, I led the way. Behind me were Nona, my brother, Always, Snake, and 7. The other children, the ones who'd gone through door 9 before us, were up ahead. I could hear them cheering each other on. We ran and ran and ran. We leapt across as many stairs as we could and kept running. The stairs spiraled upwards like a tornado. Eventually, I pulled ahead of the rest. Perhaps Nona had slowed them down. I didn't want to lose them, so I slowed down as well. I didn't stop, but I glanced over my shoulder from time to time to see if they'd caught up. That was when I realized, oh no! Where is it? Did I drop Junbi's present? I knew I'd had it with me when we passed through the vent. Then, had I dropped it as we slid out? I had to go back. I had to. But I knew I couldn't tell the others. They would stop me. I was sure of that. I didn't stop to think. I simply moved. I ran to the central hall, the room that connected to all the other areas of the ship. I'm secretly in the game. And hid in the shadows, and moments later, I felt a run of wind as they ran past me up the staircase. I waited until they were out of sight, and then I ran. I moved as quietly as I could, down and down and down. Finally, I reached the bottom deck. I ran into the hallway and looked around frantically. There it is! It was just where I thought it would be, sitting under the opening of the vent. I ran over and snatched it from the floor, but as I ran back towards the stairs and freedom... This troll. This stupid troll. You're just hanging around, wanting to barbecue kids. The door to the incinerator opened and a man stepped out. It was Hongo. Gentaro Hongo. 9 years later, we would call him Ace. I kind of like the effect of 9 years later we would call him. It sounds really cool. How wonderful... oops, it's not a me. It's an Ace.
How wonderful to see you decided to come back.
His smile made my blood run cold. It looked mechanical, as if someone had simply pulled up the corners of his mouth.
Come with me. We must continue the experiment.
I shook my head, eyes wide. Slowly I began to walk backwards. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Then I spun around and broke into a run. I felt Hongo's hand close over my left wrist.
I said, come with me!
There was an edge of insanity to his voice now. I pulled as hard as I could. No, I don't want to. Let me go. Please, let go of me. I shook my body and flailed my arms, trying desperately to get Hongo to let go of me. Ace with the coin. No. Why didn't you bring it up? Sorry. I was no match for a man like Hongo.
Stop struggling, goddammit! Do as I tell you.
He heaved on my arm, trying to pull me into the incinerator. Give me back my body pillow, Akane. I screamed. Help me! Somebody help me! Then suddenly... Oh, sorry, Akane! The door to the stairs flew open, and my brother Aoi burst out of it. Behind him came Seven and Snake. Akane! He cried my name again as he leapt toward Hongo. You came back! I cried out.
Ha! You're too late, idiot!
Hongo threw his full weight against my arm, pulling us both into the incinerator. The force of it threw me to the floor. I scrambled to my feet and looked toward the open number 9 door. Hongo stood between it and me, but behind him I could see my brother, his fists clenched. But those fists never reached Hongo. With the cold, heartless screech of metal on metal, the door slammed shut. Hongo glanced at me mechanically, his face registering that there was an object there, but not anything he would consider a human being. Then he turned away and walked to the red that sat next to the door. He reached into his pocket and removed 2 bracelets. He waved them both over the scanner panel. 2 asterisks appeared on the red. He checked the screen, then tossed the bracelets carelessly onto the floor. What was he doing? What was the point? He made no effort to explain himself, of course. He said nothing at all and walked past me as though I were nothing more than a rock by the roadside. A few moments later... the double door slid shut as well. Faintly, I could hear someone pounding on the door behind me. I turned around and ran toward the door with the 9. Akane! Akane! Are you okay? I could hear a voice from the other side of the door. A worried, frightened voice. Help me! My throat was already raw, but I screamed as loud as I could. My voice echoed lonely around the empty room. What should I do? I think I'm trapped in here. Where's Hongo? He went out the other door. What? Then it started again. Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Holy shit. Man, I knew what it was gonna say, but that's one hell of a creepy voice.
I knew it!
It's starting. Santa started the incinerator. Fuck! Man, I never thought I'd hear that damn voice again after 9 years.
What the hell? What the hell? What are you talking about? It's 9 years this and 9 years that, and when it's not 9 years, something, then you're when it's not 9 years something, then you're talking about some sort of fucking experiments. What in God's name are you talking about? You weren't making any sense. Thanks, Brown. Thank you. Sorry, it's getting difficult to do the little girl voice, only because it's kind of late, and the little girl voice, I'll try my best, but sometimes it takes being a little louder, and it can't be too loud, so I'll try.
I'm sorry, Lotus, but we really don't have the time to explain it right now. I promise I'll tell you everything once we get out of here.
But automatic incineration will take place in 17 minutes. You know what that means, right? Incinerate means burn.
What kind of an idiot do you think I am? I know what incinerate means.
Well,
God damn it. Okay, fine. I won't ask anything else.
oh? There's a yawn. Sorry. Switch the little girl voice with the ace.
Listen. Blah, blah, blah. I won't ask anything else. Talk about whatever you want. But you have to do something for me. 7. Figure this out. What? Why me? Just shut up and stop this thing. How the hell? There has to be some sort of emergency shut-off button. There isn't anything like that. How the hell do you know? Because I looked for it 9 years ago. Yeah, Lotus isn't happy about that. Can't really blame her. Wait. The floor. It's moving.
What is this? It glitched a little bit there. Did you see that?
Derp. What else can I say about it, but... What the hell is that? It's a save point. Oh boy. I'm excited.
Almost there, guys. I'm pretty sure. I think.
Oh my god. Are we even gonna get to play Persona 3 today? Ugh. What else could I say, but... What is that? The floor opened and a machine rose up out of it. It looked like a computer. At least it kind of did. There was a monitor, a keyboard, and a cross-shaped device of some kind. Something about the machine scared me, but I forced myself to walk up to it. I was terrified. Tears poured down my face. I don't know who we are anymore. I wiped them off even as more took their place and forced myself forward. Finally, I reached it. I looked at the screen. It was blank.
Ah, I thought so.
All I saw was my own frightened face staring back at me from the glass drenched in tears.
Ah!
All I can see on the screen is a reflection of my own face. I'm looking kind of freaked out. I know I'm sweating like crazy, but seeing it kind of drives it home. Okay, Junpei, just calm down, alright? Everything's gonna be okay. Gah! Man, I wish that thing would just shut up.
Automatic incineration will take place in 15 minutes.
Alright, back to this thing. If it's only showing up now, then it's gotta be important. But what the hell am I supposed to do with it? Hey, move!
I have to wait to buy Virtue's Last Reward.
Hey, we're all tense, lady. That doesn't mean you get to shove people around. Okay, it's turned on. There's nothing on the screen, though. This is bad. This is really bad. If there's nothing on here, how are we supposed to do anything with it? Sure, just push buttons. I'm sure that'll... Huh. Well, at least it's on now. What's on the screen, though?
What is this?
What the hell? It looks like some sort of puzzle. It's got a bunch of numbers scattered across a 9x9 grid. The numbers range from 1 to 9.
Do you think that if we solve this puzzle,
the incinerator will stop? Yeah, well, we can hope, right? Alright, puzzle, how do you work? Oh man, that goddamn voice again.
Automatic incineration will take place in 13 minutes.
Shit, 13 minutes. Can we really do this?
Guess what? I do not understand Sudoku for the life of me.
My heart feels like it's gonna pop.
My heart was pounding like it was about to explode. I stared at the puzzle on the screen. I was sure I had to solve it somehow, but I had no idea how. My connection to Junpei had been gone for a while. His mind was gone. I couldn't get any more information from him. I felt the seconds tick by as I stared at the screen, completely lost. My cheeks felt hot as tears poured over them. Then I heard a voice.
Hey, what are you doing?
It was muffled.
I turned around. Oh no, I think they're gonna show the face, aren't they?
No, don't. Pressed against the window in the entry door was a face, a frightening evil face. No! I don't want to see it. It was Hongo. I'm blocking him out with my hand right now. How long had he been watching me? God damn it.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
He was yelling, but his voice was still muffled. I hate that face.
It's simple, really, but I suppose I might as well tell...
That's so sorry.
Just solve the puzzle on that machine.
Ace laughed mixed in with my laugh. His laughter was muffled by the door. But it still tore at my heart like the claws of a vicious monster. I see you. That is so accurate. I can't believe he found an emote to match his face.